Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you are doing fantastic. I certainly am. And I want to begin this video with just a little quote. I've been reading a little bit in the book of Thomas. It is one of the books left out of the Christian Bible by whomever I don't know or care, but well, I do. We all have our suspicions, but it's not what's important at this point. It just doesn't. It's like this person did it, that person did it. Okay, fine. It doesn't even matter. What does matter is that it does exist and that there is some profound wisdom in there. Now, no, I do not follow Judeo Christian belief much, but I do understand and appreciate and glean knowledge from wherever I can get it from. So, the Book of Thomas is rather short, but it does have some profound stuff in there. Anyway, verse 42 was very short, sweet, to the point. It said, Jesus said, "Become passers by." And I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. To become a passerby. Well, what would that mean to us in a spiritual sense? Or not only just in a spiritual sense, but just in life? What would it mean to be a passerby in the bigger sense? Obviously, we know what a passerby is on the street, duh. But what does that mean as far as life is concerned? Does that mean to not be concerned with the things going on in the world? Yeah, I believe it does. Does that mean to just live and let live? Yes, I believe it means that as well. I think it means a lot of things. Pretty much anything you can think of, it probably means. But it also, how I've said to, when we observe things. Because when you're passing by on the street, you can't help but to observe what's going on around you. Doesn't mean you have to participate in it. Doesn't mean you have to get involved in it. Doesn't mean you have to even give it a second thought. You can just, oh, well, there's that, and keep moving. Right? That's what a passerby would be. And I was like, well, that is, as short and sweet and to the point as we can get. When we want to be observers but not participants. When we, as I've said before, many, many times, remove ourselves from the collective's consciousness and become a consciousness unto ourselves. In other words, for those of you that aren't, haven't heard me say that, to go your own way, and to be a passerby. Of course, we live amongst the collective. We can't get away from that. They are always going to be there. But when I say to remove yourself from that, I mean your path, your trajectory, your unit of consciousness, what makes you you. You are a divine spark of the Creator. You're an amazing creation. And you're part of God. Hello. So, of course, you're amazing. But to remove yourself from that of the collective, because it doesn't take much to look out and on the world, just kind of sit back and observe and realize that through the news media, through, just everything, through advertising, through just everything, right? It doesn't take much to figure out that most of humanity, and I do mean a vast majority of humanity, are, we don't, they are kind of, they're not numb, but they are a little bit just turned off. How about that? Their consciousness is just turned off. Some people would even go as far as to say that some are NPCs, non-player characters. And what a non-player character is like in a video game or whatever. Let's say you're the main character in a video game, because you kind of are, really. And in that game, you are passing through it. You're on a quest, of course, because it's a video game. So you're on this big quest, and you are passing through this town. And let's say you decide to stay and stay for the night. Okay. Well, so you go into this hotel or whatever, and the people that you interact with, say the shopkeeper or the people at the restaurant, those are people that are just kind of background noise, just to make it look real. Those are NPCs, non-player characters. They are just bodies. But it goes further, because we see those people out here who, for whatever reason, may or may not have a soul. And that's not for us to judge. Okay? And I know a lot of people get triggered when people talk about NPCs. I'm not going down that road, because for one thing, and I'm not afraid of, triggering people, but I'm just not interested in figuring all that out. It doesn't matter to me who is an NPC or not. It really doesn't. Now, maybe I'm open though, maybe somebody could tell me, hey, look, Matt, here's why it matters to you. And I'm saying that if you can convince me, I'm open to that. Fine, go for it. Give it your best shot. But as of right now, I have seen no reason why I should be concerned with who's an NPC and who's not. Anywho, so we look out into the world and we see that the human collective, 7 billion people, if you believe that, whatever, that's fine. I believe there may be 7 billion bodies in this realm, in this construct. But are all of them inhabited by a soul? Are all of them directed? Kind of how they say that our higher self is on the outside and it is jacked into this body through the filter of the brain for the purpose of having an experience and all that good stuff. But there may be other bodies out there that are not at the moment being under control or being jacked into by someone's consciousness, higher self. And they say that there are walk-ins, meaning there may be a soul out there in the cosmos who says, yeah, I'll go have an experience on Earth. Sure. And they'll find one and just kind of hitch to it. And there you go. Or there may be someone who has had a particularly rough go of it, or for whatever reason, their soul decides, I ain't doing this no more. No. And detaches and is gone. And then the body can then still operate through the brain. Brain is an amazing thing. I'm not saying it's just a transmitter receiver. I know I say that, but I do, because I'm when I say that, I'm talking about that's your go-between, so that for your higher self and so you can interact and navigate and do whatever it is that you're going to do in this realm, and gain the experiences that you're going to gain, and pursue the relationships and whatever else you're going to do. But there are those out there. So when we look out amongst, it's like, geez, Matt, would you just get to the damn point? I'm going there. Give me a second. Jeez. So anyway, I'm sorry, loved one. Hey, by the way, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button yet, look, I ain't hitting shit if you don't hurry up and get to the point. Okay, fine. Hit the thumbs up for me, would you please, and also subscribe. Thanks. All right. So anyway, here we go. So when we look out amongst the people, and we see that almost the entire world is going in one direction, and it's not good. They seem to be going further and further towards the cliff or the waterfall. But then we do see those who are living a great life, having an amazing time. And it's like, well, what are they doing differently? Well, for one, they're not participating in that, because you can't participate in that and have this. You cannot, like you see people say, turn the news off. That's one of the best bits of advice you could ever give somebody. Turn off the news. And just go live your life. Go explore. Now, listen, the earth is beautiful, is it not? I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. You don't have to go that far to find beauty. I mean, where I live, there's walking trails and all that stuff through beautiful places. It's not that hard to find something in nature that's beautiful. You can, depending on where you live, beaches, mountains, you name it, beautiful. So there's so much to explore here. There's such a rich diversity of life. There's such a rich diversity of everything in this construct. It's absolutely beautiful. So we should absolutely appreciate our time here. We should learn and explore as much as we possibly can because it's beautiful and there's so much opportunity to grow. There's so much opportunity. There's so many ways that you can enjoy your life. There's so much to offer here. And yes, is it all materialism? Yes. That's fine. We are jacked into a material realm currently. So enjoy the materialism, but don't let it rule you. Don't become so wrapped up in what the world is doing because they're going off a cliff. Believe that. And I don't have to convince you. I'm sure you can see that. Most people look at the way the world's going and they're like, oh man, that's not good. That's not good. It's not good. Don't want to do that. But it's like I said in my last video. Because some people are like, well, I can't help it, man. I'm amongst them. Yeah, well, there are lots of stories. For example, one of the examples I gave in my last video, where I said you will see where these things happen frequently. You can see where a tornado just completely ravages, just ransacks an entire neighborhood, just rips it all to shreds, except for that one house right in the middle, barely lost a shingle off its roof. How's that happen? Because that person whoever owns that home has decided, I'm not going the route of them. Yes, I live amongst them. Hello, my house is right in the middle. But I am on a different trajectory with my being, my true self. Isn't that amazing? I mean, isn't it? We hear these stories all the time. We hear these stories about just so-and-so, just how did they avoid disaster? We don't know, but they did. They were saved by angels or whatever. But the question is, why? What was that person doing different? Because one thing you can be sure of is they're always doing something different. We may not know what that is because we don't even know who the people are. We just hear the story, but whatever. Anyway, so it's in the Gospel of John, it said to be passers-by. In other words, we're going to enjoy this world. We're going to walk through this world. We're going to live this life and do all the things that we do. In fact, we're going to have a better life than most. And maybe, okay, lead by, and it's like, well, that sounds a little selfish. All right. Well, if it makes you feel better, then lead by example. Set a great example for others. That way, when they see you having an amazing time, when the rest of the world is going to hell, they can come to you. Maybe they'll come to you and say, what'd you do? Why? And you can say, here's what I'm doing differently. I am not accepting that reality. I'm making my own reality. And my reality is beautiful. Whatever it is that you want in your life. Claim those things. Right? But here's the thing. And I'm not, there's a big conspiracy behind all this, and I don't, and conspiracy doesn't necessarily mean it's not true. So, science has pretty much determined that we can perceive with our conscious mind about 40-ish, say 40 to 50 bits of information per second. But there are millions of bits of information coming at you per second, up to, I think it was 11 million. And I believe that there's probably far more now than there used to be. Because something is on the horizon. There is something coming to a head. There is going to be a breaking point for this construct, for the world. Is it a reset? I kind of think it is. Does it matter? Not really. Because we can't stop that. But what we can do is have a great time while we're here. Or not play along with all that. Anyway, that's getting off the subject. The point of the 40 to 50 bits per second that you can perceive. Okay. The controllers of this world. Yeah, here we go with the conspiracy theory. I don't care. Let's go there. The controllers, the people who really do know what's going on for real. The people who know what's coming for real. Maybe they're not even people, but whatever. The beings we'll go with. I do believe there are humans involved, but whatever. This is a spiritual thing. So there is such a thing as Loosh, and no, I'm not that. I'm hip to the game of Loosh, but I'm not. I'm kind of. I don't know how to feel about it. Anyway, what this theory is behind that is that through negative emotions, through negative, low vibrational vibrations, low vibrational fields that we emit through. What's my list? Of course, fear or worry, regret, doubt, things like that. The negative feelings, that emits a low vibration. And the theory is that is a form of energy called Loosh that the whatever controllers then use to, I guess, fuel the rest of this. So is it any wonder that we are bombarded with negativity from every angle, all day, every day? Is it any wonder? And then we can only perceive 40 bits per second, maybe 50. So if we allow ourselves to only perceive all these negative things, well, then you're going to produce more of that negative vibration. And it is going to take some work on your part, but you can decide, I'm not focusing on that. I am going to turn the news off. I am going to do all these things. I'm going to start focusing on the good things that are coming at me. Because the amount of stuff I can focus on is very limited. 40 bits, maybe 50 at a time per second. So I'm going to decide all these negative bits that I have been kind of focused, letting into my field. I'm not going to let it into my field anymore. I'm going to block that out. And yes, it's going to take work because we've been so trained to do that, to take all that in. And then it would be like, yeah, that's part of the whole thing. So, yeah. But there is a bigger picture. This is not all there is. I mean, if this is all there is, then that sucks. But I mean, anybody who's sat and listened to me this long, I believe knows that there is far more to all of this than what we see here. But here we are. So let's enjoy this time here. Let's enjoy this beautiful construct. Let's enjoy the world. Go out and explore it. Create beautiful relationships, beautiful memories. Learn some really amazing lessons. Gain some wisdom. But block out all that bombardment of negativity coming at you. Because you can only perceive 40 to 50 bits per second. Choose wisely what those bits are. The ones that are going to enhance you, that are going to allow you to chart your own course, to create your own reality, to be the one house left sitting in the neighborhood that got the rest of the neighborhood that got ransacked. Chart your own course to, I'm going to be that house, the one that didn't get touched. Yeah. Because there is a breaking point coming. I believe it's cyclical. I believe it happens a lot. And there are signs of it. I mean, if you follow the Jason Brashears on the Archaics channel with the Phoenix timeline, every 138 years, there's some cataclysm in the world. And I think every fourth or fifth one is worldwide. I don't know. That's not what's important. Point is, all these things are cyclical. And like even so much as, okay, and then some people say in the spiritual circles, they say that there are galactic waves coming from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and it's some kind of, it's energizing those of us who are spiritual. All right, fine, maybe. Okay. I'm not going to go there either way. But so there's that. And then, but here's something we do know. There's a lot more activity coming from the sun right now. What's that about? Is it cyclical? I got to believe it is. But it's ramping up. Everything seems to be ramping up. And the controllers are ramping up. Everything is ramping up. We got all this stuff about UFOs and NHI and UAP, whatever, and NHI, all these things, non-human intelligence. All of these things, they're all putting all this stuff out for some reason. And is it fear? Probably. It's all leading up to something. But that's okay. It's fine. I'm going to get into why I think all that is, but probably not in this video. I've already gone longer than I normally do, because I'll give a little clue. I do believe that the goal of the controllers is to keep as many souls stuck in a loop as they possibly can. I mean, that would explain all the fear about religion, right? The fear that's generated from religion. I think the goal of them is to keep everybody stuck in a loop so that we keep coming back and we keep producing that low vibrational energy that I'm not certain about, but it does make sense. Let's just put it that way. That whole loose thing. It does make sense. I'm looking into it further. I've looked into it quite a bit, but I'm getting more into it. And I'm going to form an opinion on it. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, when you look at the state of the world, when you look at the way things are going, it's like, yeah, it does seem as if, like with religion, they are scaring people into staying. What I mean by that is, it's like if you were to pass away and you go out there, you may be confronted with, hey, do you want to roll the dice on where you're going to go next? Or do you want to cycle back into there? Well, a lot of people who are full of fear and doubt be like, yeah, let me cycle back into there and try it again. Just a thought. Anyway, that's just a thought. So anyway, loved ones, I do appreciate you. I do. And if you would, if you didn't hit the thumbs up like button already, go ahead and do it. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, share this video with someone you think would either enjoy hearing it or maybe you feel like needs to hear it. I don't know. Anyway, loved ones. Oh, and if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And you can find me on X. Yes, X, Matt Stevens, MSA. I post everything I do on X, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Reddit or Substack or whatever. Anything I do as far as blogging or videos or my audio only podcast, anything is on X. So I highly recommend you find me and hit a follow on X. I would appreciate it. And yeah, that's what I got, loved ones. I do love you. I do. Let's chart our own course, shall we? I'll be back directly.